Okay, you're at the Watchmen Way. 2/10/20. February 10th, 2020. Turkey is saber rattling with Syria. Got to be more deep state distraction. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Same thing that's been going on there for 75 years. Crude crashes. Bond yield curve inverts again. Every time the bond yield has inverted since 1980, there's been a recession. And it's inverted, I think, multiple times this year, 7, 8 times this year. Or, well, last 6 months. Just more indicators, guys, of being at the end of this cycle. Worldwide record debt. Coronavirus is raising hell. China's saying that it's not that bad. And listen, guys, I think this isn't a big deal. This is a flu, is basically what it is. People die every year from the flu. I think the death toll is like 600, and that's over several weeks. It would have to be 6 million after several weeks for it to be any kind of an impact on the world. This is all about distracting. Impeachment, gun grab. What they come up with? Gonna criminalize free speech. It's getting old. It's can't get a rise out of me anymore. It's lame. It's amateurish. It's an embarrassment. But this is the best they've got. It just keeps getting worse and worse for them. I don't know how much longer this can go on without, Obama or Clinton being arrested. It's got to be happening here pretty soon, guys. Zero Head says North Korea is concealing a coronavirus outbreak. This is just about, getting people riled up, getting them worried about something else. And in the meantime, guess what? The air quality in China is improving. Yeah, because nobody's driving their cars because nobody's working. And the factories, most of them are shut down. So there you go. You want to help work on the climate change problem? Shut down industry in China. That'll be a good start. It's fixing, I think, to get shut down. China's going to have a tough time through this. Yeah. What they got going on in Hong Kong and the coronavirus, which again, I think is mostly manufactured. But then when the economy goes, China could have a rough time going through this. China could have a rough time. The EU could have a rough time. South America probably is going to get through it pretty clean. EU is going to be tough. India probably get through it okay. Yeah, God Almighty. Yeah, factories are grinding to a halt. Shipping grinding to a halt. The Baltic Dry Index is like near all-time lows, which tracks the shipping. Bird flu in Germany. You see, notice how all this is coming out now. You got Germany, you got North Korea, you got China, and it's for the flu, guys. And this is the big story. It's a joke. They don't want to talk about Epstein. They don't want to talk about FISA. They don't want to talk about Fast and Furious. They don't want to talk about all the important issues that are really going to hit home here pretty quick, because they're not going to be able to ignore them much longer. Okay, so everybody knows, or should know, the Watchmen page. I was called by God in 2014 to be a watchman and to warn about the coming potential dangers with the first ever worldwide economic collapse, the worldwide draining of the swamp, and the exposure of the satanic pedophile ring that's been running the world for hundreds of years at least, that runs through the Vatican, the royal family, former U.S. presidents, government officials. I mean, it's the scope of this thing is frightening. The number of people that are involved, from the globalists, because it's all together, guys. The deep state, the swamp, the globalist cabal, Illuminati, whatever you want to call them. There's a group of people that have been around for a long time, bloodline families, the royalty, as well as families like the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Payseurs. They're all going down with the swamp, with the economy. Most of these families are involved. They own the world. These are the families that own 90% of the wealth. That 90% is going to be stripped from these people based on the executive order written 12/21/17 that allows the government to seize the assets of any individual or corporation involved in human trafficking or corruption. End of story. They're all getting their wealth stripped. Bezos, Zuckerberg, Schmidt from Google and Alphabet. They're all losing everything they've stolen, and it's basically they've stolen, because let me tell you, Google and Facebook and Alphabet, those are government programs. Those were developed by the deep state, our CIA, and then turned over to these clowns to run the private sector, to control us. Well, we know all that's going to end up. Their wealth is going to be seized. But we have to be ready for this economy. Basically, we've got to be prepared. Extra food, extra water, medical supplies, ammo, physical silver, and Litecoin. So God came to me the first time in 2014, and again a couple of weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago now. The first, he showed me what the potential dangers were, showed me Litecoin and silver, showed me carbon-60, there are a few other things. The Litecoin and silver, we've been saying now for a couple of years, were to be used to pay forward. That the silver and Litecoin that the Watchmen, our group, has been accumulating, portions of those proceeds, our profits, we're paying forward on the other side of this to help the recovery, right? Well, when God came to me 3 weeks ago, I guess now, he clarified. And yes, we're paying it forward, but what he wants is that this possibly hundreds of millions of dollars is going to be used to build the foundation of God's church, the revival of God's church, which is the church that Jesus taught 2,000 years ago, called the Way. The reason the Way was never adopted was because they couldn't control it. It's the purest form of religion on the planet. There's no priest, there's no bishop, there's no pope, there's no hierarchy, there's no church, no building. The church is us, the people. The church is the world. It's how we treat each other every day. It's how we live our lives. It's telling the truth every time. It's doing the right thing every time. It's living your life in the service of others. There's no downside here, guys. This is the religion that Jesus taught when he was here. This should be the most important thing that Christians are focused on. God wants this to be ready because the Catholic Church is coming down this year. 2020, the Catholic Church is coming down from the inside. The Pope is getting ready to resign. There's going to be horrific details coming out about the extent of the pedophilia in the Catholic Church. One of the biggest, if not the biggest, revenue source for the Catholic Church the last 50 years, been child sex trafficking. It's all going to come out. The Catholic Church is coming down, just like the Democratic Party is coming down, just like the mainstream media is coming down, just like the Federal Reserve, the CIA, probably the FBI. All the garbage is going to be cleaned out. All the corruption. I mean, Jesus, look what they did in the FBI. I mean, it's practically cleaned out now. They got rid of 25% of the upper management of the FBI in the past year and a half. Every single person that has abused their position needs to face justice. And that's what's going to happen. But getting back to being prepared. All paper assets, when this goes down, eventually what's going to happen is they're going to have to declare a reset because there's no way to unravel this can of worms. Worldwide record debt, $1 quadrillion is estimated in derivatives. $1 quadrillion. You can't fix this. The economy is beyond repair. So one of two things is going to happen. They're going to pretty quickly after the economy collapses, I believe President Trump's going to declare a reset. And basically what that means is we just wipe the slate clean. You can't fix it. You can't unravel it. With the debt the way it is, it can't be paid back. It's just too overwhelming. And it's the best way to go. And there's pros and cons, depending on how prepared you are. If you know this is coming, and you trade your paper assets for assets outside the system, like physical silver and Litecoin, you're going to come out of this smelling like a rose. Better than you could have ever dreamed. Multi-millionaire. If you can put a couple of $1,000s into this, if you can put $500 into this, you'll be a multi-millionaire in 4 years. $250 into Litecoin, $250 into physical silver. You're going to be a millionaire in 4 years. And the question is, how many millions do you want? And how much do you want to let the banks have? Because anything you leave in your bank account is going to be lost. Politicians, the law, Obama administration. Excuse me. Yeah, sure. Yeah, they made a law that says now our deposits are considered loans to the bank. So when they go belly up, we go to the bottom of the list of creditors, which means if we get pennies on the dollar, we'll be lucky. We probably won't get a red cent. Insurance, they got 3 cents on the dollar is what they got available based on. So you're not going to get anything out of the bank. You have to protect yourself. And how you do that is by purchasing physical silver. There will be websites posted, links posted to Coinbase, where you can buy your Litecoin, to Ledger, where you can buy your storage device for your Litecoin. Now, you don't absolutely have to have this, but you're eventually going to want to get it because you're eventually going to want to get your Litecoin out of Coinbase and onto your Ledger so it's 100% secure. There will be links posted for Coinbase where you're going to buy your Litecoin, for Ledger where you're going to buy your Ledger Nano S as in Sam. That's where you're going to store your Litecoin. And then the bullion dealer will be probably SD Bullion, where you can buy your silver over the internet. So by tonight, you could have your physical silver and Litecoin bought and locked in for price. If you wait, listen, there's only 84 million Litecoin in the world. Total, that's it. All there ever will be. Maximum. 64 million have already been sold. That leaves less than 20 million. And there's 5.7 billion people in the world. And when the banks fold, everybody in the world is going to understand they need cryptocurrencies. And Litecoin is, I believe, it's a premium cryptocurrency. The top three are Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. Bitcoin's like over 10 grand now, or it was earlier. Litecoin's 73.50, I think, right before I came on. $73.50. Litecoin's going to far outperform Bitcoin. The analysts believe that Bitcoin will be worth 12 million by 2024, but Litecoin's going to be worth 3. Do the math. You can buy like 130 something Litecoin for 1 Bitcoin right now. So you definitely do the math. 3 million times 130 something, or 1 times 12 million for 10 grand. It's a no-brainer. You want Litecoin and you want physical silver. Physical silver is going to outperform gold at least 8 times. Based on historical averages, gold is like, I don't know, 15 something, 1550, $1,600 an ounce. Silver was just under 18 last time I looked. So the historical average, gold to silver, silver to gold, is 10 to 1. That's how it comes out of the ground. That's how it's been priced for 5,000 years on average. It's 10 to 1. 10 ounces of silver gets you 1 ounce of gold. It's about 85 to 1 now. So when the manipulation's removed, and the silver markets have been hit hard the last 30 years, when the manipulation's removed, the prices will snap back to the historical averages, which means if let's just pick a number, say it's 1,600 today for gold, that price is silver at 160, coming from 19, whatever. Then you add on top of that China, Russia, and the United States are all coming out with gold-backed currencies. Analysts like Bill Holter believe that when that happens, and I agree, that gold will be repriced to between 50 and 85,000 an ounce when we get gold at gold-backed currency again, based on the currency on the market today. Based on the amount of gold estimated that we have, that values gold between 50 and 85,000 an ounce. Well, just now do the math. Now silver could be at 5,500. Over $5,000. This is going to be the greatest transfer of wealth in human history, guys. The Bible says that anything stolen or taken from us will be returned sevenfold. That's where these crazy numbers are going to come from. We're stripping the 90% of the wealth from the 1%, the elite, right? The cabal, the Illuminati. And then we're getting this run up on precious metals and cryptocurrencies. This is once in history. This has never happened before. It will never happen again. The people that are in front of this thing are going to be rich beyond their wildest dreams. You put $10,000 into this, your family for 100 years will never have to work. Probably for several hundred years will never have to work. Not that that's a great thing, but the whole point of God showing this to us is that we're to use a portion of these funds, these profits, to lay down the foundation of the revival of God's church. Think about being a part of that. God says the Way is going to be the biggest church in the world within 20 years. And think about it. We've got the economy collapsing and being cleaned out. We've got the swamp being drained and cleaned out. We've got the satanic pedophile network being eradicated. We're basically with these moves, we're getting rid of 90% of the evil in the world. These people have been responsible for every war of the last 300 years, every terrorist attack, every school shooting. And they're going to be removed. At the same time, this new revival of Jesus' religion, the Way, is taking hold, where you tell the truth, you do the right thing, you live your life in the service of others. What kind of world do you think we're going to have? It's a hell of a lot better than what we have now, where 800,000 kids go missing in America every year without a peep from the politicians or the media. Kind of makes you wonder about that satanic pedophile network, doesn't it? It should make you wonder. The reason that the media and the government officials aren't talking about it, because they know where the kids are going. The CIA is responsible for many of these abductions, and the FBI is responsible for covering up a lot of it. The CIA has been running breeding farms, human breeding farms, where they take these children, the cute ones they sell into child sex trafficking, and the homely ones they sell for their body parts. Organ harvesting. Yeah, they murder these children to take their body parts. And the cute ones, a lot of them are sexually assaulted, tortured, and then murders in satanic rituals. There's video of this. Epstein ran a honeypot. Look at Epstein. Look at Nexium. Look at who went to Epstein Island, the pedo island. The Pope went to pedo island. Prince Andrew. Bill Clinton went 25 or 26 times. Hillary Clinton went 6 or 8 times. Don Lemon. Chris Cuomo. Jake Tapper. All went to pedo island. You wonder why now CNN is so down on President Trump? Why all these politicians have been attacking him for the last 4 years? Because they've been involved in this crap. And they know either they get him out of office, either the deep state, the swamp, removes President Trump, or they're all going to end up at Gitmo. And we're down to the wire now, guys. I think this is happening. I think this is happening probably this month, the rest of this month. I mean, we're close. It can't go on much longer. It's going to happen before the 2020 election. Happen. That means they can't happen before summertime. Well, it's spring. So anytime, guys, days or weeks, this goes down. The whole thing is going to go down this year. Be prepared. Don't make your family suffer. I don't think this is going to go worst case. Hold on a second. I got a message here from. Yeah, Pompeo was in charge of the CIA. But he was a senator before that. And President Trump was the one that appointed Pompeo. I believe Pompeo is 100% a white hat, is a good guy. And we'll see how it plays out, but I think he's on board for sure. We'll see, but I think he's a good guy. President Trump wouldn't have taken him from the CIA to Secretary of State if he didn't have a lot of confidence in the job he was doing. I think he's good. He's good to go. Anyway, with little time left, guys, we have to make the last push to red pill, which is wake up as many people as we can to really push hard, however long we have left, days or weeks, to get people ready. Every person matters. Every person makes a difference. Every person is going to make a difference on the recovery, because the more people we have on board, the more people are going to have assets to put into that foundation of the way and pay it forward like God wants. It's all good, guys. Let's see. Iran failed for the fourth time in a row to put a satellite into orbit. And we're worried about these guys and nuclear capabilities. Don't have to worry about Iran. Don't have to worry about North Korea. All hype. Okay, let's see what we got for questions. David, what's up? Chad, Dorothy, Helen, Tyler. Well, no. What they were reporting was that there was a downturn from from all the pollution there in China, because it's come to a standstill pretty much. Yeah, don't believe anything you hear and half what you see, and that's a good lesson. Question everything. Use your critical thinking skills. Use your discernment. Don't believe anything on face value. This is the Watchmen page. Mike, David, Susan, how you guys doing? Susie's talking about cues in the speech tonight. A lot going on, guys. I'm telling you, buckle up. Thank you, David. I know he is. Time does fly, guys. Yeah, and POTUS, they axed 70 people, Obama holdovers that were working in the White House. See, they were just waiting for this. They were waiting for the acquittal, and now I think they put the hammer down. We'll see. We'll see. It's sure looking that way. Danielle, Tommy, how you doing? Lisa, hello. Cheryl. Jeannie. Keith, how you doing? Sean, how you doing? Lisa, gold is at 1574 and silver is at 1777. You're going to pay a premium on top of that. So when silver is 1777, you're probably out the door with premium. You're going to be $18.50 to $19 for an ounce of silver out the door, which is, if it's going to go to 500, that's pretty good. It's going to go to way more than 500. Noble Gold is telling people to buy silver now. It's one of the most underrated assets out there right now, guys. Silver is, because it's been beaten down so bad from the manipulation, because they wanted to scare us away from it. Silver is the poor man's precious metal. But if you think it's worthless, nobody wants it, you're not going to buy it. And that's what they've been trying to do for the last 30 years. So they could snatch it all up at the end when they drive the price down. Danielle. You guys are talking about a page. Are you talking about the forum at thewatchmanway.com? Right? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, I know, guys. I got to clean out. I've I've actually already cleaned out like probably 2,000, and I'm back up to 5,000 again on my friends list, and we're getting close to 2,100 on the Watchmen. We actually have nearly 2,100 members now. It's growing, guys. Really starting to take off. Yeah, got to pay attention to Q. Yeah, I know, Jeremy. I'll see if I can clean out some friends here, make some room. Rita, how you doing? Tommy? Let's see. Jeannie, Cheryl. Yeah, you guys are on the Watchmen page right now. So we've got the Watchmen page. We've got the Watchmen.co website. We've got the watchmanway.com website, which is the website for the religious part. And we've got a YouTube channel and the face in our Watchmen Facebook page that we're on right now. So yeah, those are the different platforms you can find us on. And I'm on Twitter, but I hardly ever use it. I just never could get the feel of it to get any good out of it. Oh, Oscars had an all-time low rating last night. I didn't even know it was on. Could care less. Yeah, they're getting crushed, guys. Crude oil. I talked about that. All right. We'll see what happens in China. I think this week in China is going to be big. If they don't get China back to work this week, the economy is going to have, especially the stock market, because they're playing that same game. You're seeing it now with China going back to work. They're playing that same game they did with a trade deal, right? You know, the trade deal has to get done and the stock market's going to drop. Well, this is kind of the same thing. China's got to get back to work because they're already in a really weak economy. And then just have it come grinding to a halt, it's going to end things real quick. You can't really afford to let it stop because it's barely churning as it is. So, you know, they just can't afford the losses. Nobody can around the world, guys. It's that bad. Be positive when you're talking to people. Everything I've just talked about has to happen. It's for the betterment of mankind. The world is going to be a better place for what's coming. People's natural reaction when you talk about a worldwide collapse, or you talk about former U.S. presidents being arrested, or possibly royal family, that kind of rattles people. But when you look at the big picture, it's all good, guys. It's all for our betterment, the average person, because this all happened because the elite were doing what they wanted to do, which was, as you're going to find out when this evidence comes out, you know, the Hillary Clinton snuff video, it's 100% real. Frazzle drip. You can see it on the dark web right now. Epstein was filming out of Pedo Island, his mansion in Florida, his mansion in New York City, and his ranch in New Mexico. There are thousands of hours of the most disgusting video ever recorded. They've got most of the elites, most of these monsters on video torturing and murdering children, including Hillary Clinton and Uma Abedin. It's all going to come out. You're not going to be able to hide from it. It's going to be on the mainstream media 24/7 worldwide for weeks, if not months. And it's a good thing, because when that happens, when people can no longer deny it, can't hide from it, the world's going to unite behind President Trump, around President Trump. Because they're then going to understand why he was being attacked the way he was. It's going to be beautiful, guys. It's all coming, and it's coming, I think, quickly. You know, God is the only one that knows for sure, but I just can't imagine this going on months. I just don't see how it can happen. So remember, be positive. Don't procrastinate. Any last minute prepping you need to do, you need to get on it. Any last minute calls, contacts, emails, text messages. Take your last minute shot at your friends, relatives, and neighbors, because once this thing goes, everything's going to get harder. It's going to get harder to get food and water. It's going to get harder if you can get it at all, Litecoin and silver. If the banks close, forget it. Just forget it. You're not going to get it. Silver's going to be going up so fast, nobody will sell it. And the same thing for Litecoin. Coinbase will be overwhelmed. You won't be able to get in. You won't be able to make transactions. Could be days or weeks. That's why you've got to have silver in case you don't have access to anything else. You'll have at least a silver to navigate the rough patch. If the banks close, there's not a lot of currency around. Good idea to have some cash, you know, depending on your financial situation. If you can have 500 or 1,000, I would do it. I wouldn't do much more than that because eventually cash is going to be worthless also. Got to be thinking about these things ahead of time, guys. Part of being prepared, it's being prepared physically, spiritually, and mentally. And the mental part is kind of game planning all this. What's it going to look like? What are you going to do? What if rioting and looting starts? What if the grocery stores close? You got to have all those things thought out. If it gets bad where I'm at, do I need to move? Where am I going to move to? You can't decide that down the road, guys. You need to be thinking about that stuff right now. Because here's the other problem we could have. When this goes down, there's a chance we might lose communication. There's a chance that President Trump might shut it down for a while for security reasons. Definitely martial law will be declared when they start the arrest. I think they're going to do that because they expect widespread civil unrest. I don't think it's going to be that bad, especially if they announce the pedophilia first. There'll be very little civil unrest if they know that the reason we're coming for most of these people is because what they're doing to the kids. But time is short, guys. So don't waste any of it. Use every day we have. Like I said, every person matters. Every person's important. That's a whole family. We just changed their whole lives. If we can get, one mom or dad to buy a few Litecoin, it changed that family's life forever. There are, I've been saying this, there are going to be gardeners or janitors who are millionaires, who could barely survive in today's world, struggling to get by, who overnight, basically, could never have another financial worry in the rest of their lives. Just think about that. Think about that mental state of being under the pressure for however long it's going to be going on. It's been tight here, guys. It's been tight all over the world last couple of years. You're seeing it with the homelessness, just explosion, all over. And I think especially here in California, where the weather's a little bit nicer in the wintertime, they're all coming this way because they want to get out of the snow. So yeah, it's really shocking to see. It looks like a third world country. I've been through third world countries that look like they were in better shape than the San Francisco Bay Area. And this is supposed to be one of the wealthiest parts of our country. So let that sink in for a second. Yeah, it's not good. And it has to change, and it's going to change. But it all comes with this cleansing. Swamp, economy, pedophiles, gone. Man's greatest age, greatest transfer of wealth in human history, man's greatest accomplishment, eradicating this evil. I'm going to leave it on a positive note there, guys, for tonight. And remember, fear not. God and President Trump are 1,000% in control. We'll see you tomorrow night at 5 Pacific. God bless.